guess, clear in case it's not. I am the current Superior Court judge here in El Dorado County. I have been your Superior Court judge now for 16 months. During that time, I have heard over 2,000 matters just in dependency and delinquency. I'm not used to this. I like the other kind of microphone like I have in court. I've heard over 2,000 delinquency and dependency matters, which are part of my assignment, as well as, I don't know, over 5,000 traffic cases. I can say that in that time, I have decided every case. Not a single case has been reversed. And that's really one of the key things that you look at in terms of assessing the quality of a judge. It's one of the things that they are rated on by the Commission on Judicial Performance, rated on by their colleagues, other members of the bench. So how did I get to this position? And the answer to that lies in my experience. I really want to share with you 3 areas that emphasize my qualities, my qualifications for being the Superior Court judge. I have the experience, I am tough on the issues, and I am fair. In terms of experience, I have handled complex litigation. I did this for 20 years with the state of California. I was a senior litigator. I handled multi-million, and in some cases, multi-billion-dollar litigation with the state. All of you probably remember the furlough litigation, the furloughs of state employees. I was one of the lead attorneys on that furlough litigation that saved the state of California $2.8 billion over the course of the furloughs. That came at a time, just to give you an idea of how pressured that was. The state of California was literally, in 2008, 90 days away from not being able to meet its financial obligations. If you remember, the director of finance got up and gave a speech on TV and radio, emphasizing that fact that something that had to be done. They were trying to move the legislature to make some kind of a compromise on the budget. Well, the legislature wouldn't do that. So it really came down to some drastic measures, and that was imposing state furloughs on state employees. And we knew that that was going to generate a host of litigation by the folks that you've probably heard of, the SEIUs, the Prison Guard Union, and practically every state labor union, employee group, state labor union, 21 different bargaining units, sued over these state furloughs. Myself, I had a team, we did that litigation. We were before my experience on that case was before the California Supreme Court, the courts of appeal, and of course, obviously, in the trial courts. Now, going on and talking a little bit broader about my experience and what I bring to the bench, and why I think that I am, without reservation, without any qualification, I am the most qualified person for this position. I've appeared before the U.S. Supreme Court. I've appeared at the 9th Circuit Court of Appeal. I've appeared at 3 of the 4 federal district courts in this county, in this state. Northern District, Eastern District, and Southern District. I have also appeared, as I said, at California Supreme Court. I have published decisions out of the 3rd District Court of Appeal. These decisions are important because they are critical to changing aspects of the law and giving talking about this idea of consistency. Some of my decisions that I did, I was lead litigator in, I did it at the appellate level, set the stare decisis for various principles in terms of collective bargaining. In addition to that experience, I have appeared in LA Superior Court. I appeared in Sacramento, San Francisco, Kern, Santa Barbara. Now, I don't believe any of my challengers can say that they have that breadth of trial court experience. I have. That's just on the experience end of things in terms of the litigation. I have another area of experience as well, and it's not just the litigation side of things. It has to do with my role as a hearing officer or judge. The 16 months that I've been on the bench isn't the only time that I have served in this kind of position. I was served as a small claims court judge, a judge pro tem for Sacramento County for 3 years. And there they call them judge pro tems, and I just want to alert you all to the idea of, when you hear the term judge pro tem, be advised that there are different categories of judge pro tems. There are judge pro tems that have judicial powers, and judge pro tems, really they're more technically called temporary judges, that don't have judicial powers. Okay? They're more like settlement conference attorneys that help the parties get to a resolution that is presented to a judge. My role in Sacramento County was a judge pro tem with judicial powers. In addition to that, with the agency that I work for, which I haven't mentioned yet, but I was with the Department of Personnel Administration for the state of California. My role, one of the things that I did with them was to serve as a hearing officer on administrative hearings, because our agency was charged with conducting administrative hearings on certain kinds of claims. I served as a hearing officer on an intermittent basis. My main job there was a litigator, but it was kind of one of those things, other duties as assigned. We need somebody with experience that can hear a case, that can take in evidence, that can process the evidence, that can then produce a recommended decision. That was part of my role. I did that. I did that for 6 years. But prior to that, I also have experience. One of the things I didn't mention previously is that I was a school teacher for 11 years before going into law. I actually taught at El Camino High School. It's in San Juan Unified School District for 8 years. I loved it. Sometime, you know, if you talk afterwards, I'll explain how I got from there into law. It wasn't by design, because I love teaching. But anyway, when I did become an attorney, I went back to work for the school district that I had taught at as an in-house attorney. I did student expulsion hearings for them. These are evidentiary hearings, taking in evidence, deciding points of, not so much points of law, because they're not really, but it's more so taking in the evidence and weighing it, assessing it, and then coming up with a recommendation that goes to the board, the school board. So from a very early time of my career, all the way until I was appointed, I have worked in positions that have had judicial qualities and experiences with them. All right, so I said I'm experienced, I'm tough. Okay, in terms of toughness, I want to tell you 2 quick things about that. One, I faced off for 19 years with the Department of Personnel Administration against the toughest state labor unions that this state had to offer. And SEIU, that union gets a lot of play, but they're not the toughest. They got a lot of money, they got a lot of clout, but they're not the toughest. The toughest, the prison guard union. Those are the toughest. And I faced off with them for 19 years. That was part of my job. And beat them consistently. Why? Because I knew the law, I studied the law, I knew how to present it. I think that those are qualities that you want, that we need as a judge. It's certainly what I want. I haven't mentioned that I have been a resident of this county for over 15 years, married, have an 11-year-old daughter. When I was given this opportunity, or presented with an opportunity for an appointment to the bench, I specifically said, I want to come to my home community where I live and where I'm raising my family, and that's where I want to serve as judge. So I lost my train of thought with the card. The other point that I wanted to make on this was, in terms of toughness, facing off against the prison guard unions isn't the toughest of all the jobs that I've had. It is